Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and we've been sort of slowly making our way through the different Epiphone guitars that have come up, since their revamp, and we get to this one. This is the Epiphone Les Paul Muse. So what we'll do, we'll go over the sort of spec as normal, and then we'll go on to the sound demos, and then I want to come back and sort of talk about what I've learned about this guitar, because it has quite a sort of split personality. So coming up close then, give you a good idea of the finish. It is quite a nice colour blue in all fairness. The body, it is weight relieved, much more so than the modern from the new range that we looked at before. And it's a Kume, so similar to mahogany, but just generally, a more affordable sort of alternative to mahogany, but that similar family of woods, if you like. There isn't any, anywhere you can see the wood grain. The whole thing is either painted or highly lacquered over. But you do get this belly contour just there on the back as well. No other contours though, it's just normal everywhere else. This is a lock tone sort of Tune-o-matic style bridge, so nothing wrong with the bridge to be fair. The pickups and the coil split in we'll get onto in a bit, but they're the Alnico Classic Pros. And then a normal three-way selector switch there as well. Moving on to the neck, it's Indian Laurel, which, to be fair, as rosewood alternatives go, is one of the better ones, I think. But it's not ebony or anything like that on this one. 12-inch radius like normal Les Paul and 22 frets. The neck carve, happily, is not a slim D. It is slim, but it's a uniform sort of C all the way around. Much more like the early Korean Epiphone Les Pauls. Very, very similar neck carve, if anyone's familiar with those. Then you've got the Muse on the truss-rod cover just there. New style headstock, like I said before. Not locking Grovers, but they are Grovers nonetheless on the back of here, so that's pretty cool to see as well. So that's the sort of top to bottom general spec. We are going to come back, like I said, after the sound examples and talk a bit more. So what I'll do is I'll show you these pickups clean first, just a quick run through of bridge, middle, neck, and then I'll try and dial in sort of a classic overdrive and sort of show you those tones as well. So you heard some sound examples just there then, and what I want to get onto now is the coil splitting, because it's not something I tend to sort of include in the videos, because unless it's something I'm seriously impressed with sound-wise, like some of the PRS stuff, to me it's just, I can take it or leave it. You might like it, but it's not something that excites me. But what I do want to show you with these is when you do split the coils, you do not get any loss of volume at all. So I thought it'd be useful to at least show that. So we'll look at that. But before we do, at this point in time, I'm not sure if this comes with CTS pots, because I know a lot of the more upper mid-range Epiphone guitars since the revamp, one of the sort of special features, if you like, was the improved wiring and pots. So I'm going to take this off now and look with you guys to see if they are CTS pots or if they're just alpha pots, or even if they're those, you know, piddly little tiny pots. So I'm going to get a screwdriver and then we'll have a quick look in there. So that answers that question then. They aren't the tiny pots, but they are not CTS pots on the Muse. If I try and bring that in a bit closer. They're pots that I've seen many times before. They're the ginseng pots. So thinking sort of alpha pot territory, they are full-size pots, but they're not CTS. But I haven't had any issues with the pots, to be fair. They have worked reasonably well. And like I said, now I'll show you the coil split sort of tones, just so you can hear what I mean by you don't lose volume. So there you go then, you've heard this guitar, you've heard the coil splits, we checked the pots there as well. Little word on these pickups then, they are the, as I say, the Alnico Classic Pros, which are not to be confused with the Pro Buckers you get with the modern and the 50s and 60s standards. I would say that the Alnico Classic Pros, they're a tiny bit hotter, but they're still not like really hot. But what is noticeable with them is that the natural EQ curve of the pickup is very flat, whereas the Pro Buckers are trying to emulate PAFs in a way, and they've got more of a mid-range hump. So there is a distinct difference in sound between these and all of the Epiphones with Pro Buckers that I've currently got in stock. So let me know what you thought sound-wise of these pickups. But yeah, overall, I do think it fits in line with, you know, with the general improvement of Epiphone over the last sort of 2 years. But that being said, it does feel like a cheaper guitar than the modern and the 50s and 60s standards, which of course it is a cheaper guitar, but you notice it. And I think a lot of that is to do with, well, the weight for one. Anything under £8 for a Les Paul always throws me, because that's just sort of too light then, I think. But also the fact that every part of the guitar is either painted and covered in thick gloss. Yeah, and you do just notice that, but there's plenty to like. It's been stable, you know, the Grover tuners are great, the bridge has been fine. The neck carve, which is a massive part of any guitar, I think is really comfortable. And I do just think it's, you know, it's something different. And there's just something I want to show you that I've noticed on this guitar through the course of filming. This is from 2020, by the way, I forgot to mention before. But I probably won't pick this up on camera. But from the corner of the nut there is a bit of lacquer crack on both sides of the nut. Now, this is something that is probably on about a quarter of all Epiphones that I've come across. It's a bit like Fender, where in the neck you'll very often see a bit of lacquer crack there. And actually on some Gibsons as well, it's quite common. So if you are looking at a guitar and you like something to be pristine, on a Les Paul, that's one of the places to check. Obviously a neck break can look similar, but you'll be able to follow it all the way around and it'll be more obvious. But I thought I'd just mention that in the video as well. But yeah, like I said, let me know what you think of this guitar. I suppose the only thing I've got left to say about it is I grew up in the sort of skater era, if you like. The, you know, late 90s, early 2000s was my sort of youth. And bands like Sum 41, Alien Ant Farm were the norm. That was what everybody listened to, you know, certainly where I grew up. And this guitar, for some reason, for me, has that kind of like, it fits with that kind of vibe. I don't know why, but for me, I picture it in that scene really well. So I'm going to play you out with a little riff from that time. And that's it for this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.